All right, what's up, everybody? Blackacre here, your friendly neighborhood masked guitarist, vocalist, and tonight I'm here with a very special guest, the baritone master himself, XRC.
How
What's
you
up?
doing, man? Thank you so much for having me on as a guest. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Of course,
So
man.
I have a couple kind of softballs first.
I'm
Um,
ready.
cool. So I was wondering, like I noticed, like right now, I think you're wearing a Prince shirt. Um,
Incorrect. I'm actually wearing a Powerline shirt
oh,
from the Goofy movie.
even better.
however, I still love Prince. Like, don't get
Okay.
it twisted. I love Prince all the same.
Cool. So like I noticed like, the shirts and the Britney Spears, I think I've seen a Britney Spears shirt. So
hmm
I just wanted to know like what are some artists that people who know you for the heavy guitar stuff might
hmm
be surprised that you like.
Good question, man. I'm a huge fan, and I'm not saying this like sarcastically or whatever, but like I'm a huge fan of like late '90s, early 2000s pop music, like straight up, like Aaliyah,
Hmm.
TLC, Destiny's Child. Like I really sincerely love that stuff because it's just amazing music, and it's fun to listen to. Like
Yeah.
so, yeah, like I play and drop F, and I listen to scary music and I make heavy music at times. But like truthfully, dude, like I love like pop music a lot. I really sincerely do.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. And especially when did you graduate high school?
2010.
Okay, so we're around the same age. So like, I feel like I remember just being like a little kid and like, we had like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, like
Oh
Gwen
yeah,
Stefani.
Christina. I forgot about Christina. How could I
Yeah,
forget
yeah,
about her? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was the best, bro. Like that was like when TRL was still a thing,
Mm,
and like you could watch Limp Bizkit and then you would watch like Britney Spears, and then you would watch like I don't know somebody else like Papa Roach. I remember seeing Last Resort on TRL. Like it was such a cool time, like this huge like melting pot of artists that was being pushed in the mainstream. It was a fun time. Yeah.
for sure. It is kind of crazy to think back how like, at one time Limp Bizkit was like the biggest band in the world and that was
hmm
right alongside like Backstreet Boys and stuff. It was like the
Yeah, bro.
everyone that was just like huge
And
now.
I
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say no. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say like, um, I've never been like an elitist or a gatekeeper or this or that type of thing. Like
Mm.
I love Backstreet Boys. Like, and if you're gonna judge me, like I literally don't care. Like, it's really good music. Not you, but I'm just saying like generally.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
like it was such a cool time. Yeah, bro. Like I remember seeing what was it, the Rolling video where
Mm,
they're like on the World Trade Center.
mm.
Funny story. I asked my mom, "Hey, mom, can I get the chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water?" And she's like, "I don't know. Let's. Can I hear some?" So at the time, we had to wait until they came on TV because you couldn't
Mm.
just look them up. And Roland came on, and the line "back to f up before," or while I f this track up or whatever. And she goes, "Yeah, no, absolutely not." I'm like, why couldn't it have been My Way that came on TRL?
Yeah,
Like something
or
like
like
that. So this is a
Thriller
little
or
funny
something.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, something a little, not as on the nose.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that's a tough band. That's like a crapshoot right there. The lyrics
right,
with the
right.
parents, not a good time. Yeah, I remember. I remember hearing. I think one of those songs on like the bus in kindergarten, and it was one of those things where like. One of the kids whose parents like didn't pay attention to him, like let him have the Limp Bizkit CD. He's
Yeah,
like, there's like
bro.
46 curse word, like whatever. He's like, he says fuck so many
Yeah,
times, and it's yeah, good times, man. We
it
grew up in
was,
like a
man.
fun era for sure.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
And speaking of, we also had a cool era for Philly sports too. So I was just wondering if you like looked up to any athletes as a kid, and if that maybe had any impact on you if you did play sports, or even like in your music and stuff, just as like an inspiration.
Sure, dude, great question, man. So I I'm born and raised in the Philadelphia area, but I got like this kind of unique um upbringing because my parents were from central New Jersey, and so like they were big Jersey Devils fans and
Mm,
New York Yankee fans and stuff like that. So like I loved the Phillies, but I really really loved the Yankees a lot. So from the Phillies standpoint, I loved Iverson. Like Iverson was awesome growing up. Like he was the best.
yeah.
Um, and then like I loved Derek Jeter,
Mm,
shortstop of the Yankees, the captain. I mean, like so growing up playing little league and stuff like that, like I always wore number 2 because Jeter was
okay.
number 2. Like
Yeah.
Jeter was my dude. And then when Robinson Cano came
Mm.
and played second base for the Yankees, like all of a sudden I wanted to be number 22 and then 24. And then from there, Vladimir Guerrero from the Anaheim Angels, not very Philly, obviously, but like I was then now 27. And then 27 was always my number going forward because of Vladimir Guerrero. So like I had this weird amalgamation of like sports inspiration and influences because I got this like, so many different elements in my life. I wasn't strictly a Philadelphia sports fan. I didn't even talk about the Eagles, but like McNabb, Brian Westbrook, Brian Dawkins, T.O., like that was the shit, bro.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome. Fun time.
very fun time.
Yeah.
Very fun time to be a Philly sports fan. Yeah, I even remember like the Super Bowl in 04.
Ah, dude, Janet Jackson, bro.
Did she play at the halftime?
Yeah, that was that Super Bowl. I'll never forget it. I remember because again, there was no YouTube or anything back then.
I forgot.
And my dad and I were watching it, and my dad was like messing around. Like, I think he was like oddly specific. He was like looking through our Eagles sports card like book. You know what I'm talking about? Like we collected cards when I was a kid. And I remember I was watching it, and I remember seeing that incident, and then they just cut to like an aerial shot of the stadium and then went to black. And I remember vividly saying in my head, I went, nah, no way. Like, there's no way I just saw what I saw. And then you had to wait till the next morning when the news would come out. And I was like, oh my God, I did see that. So like another funny, like vivid memory I'll never forget, bro. Yeah.
That's so funny. I must have been so naive back then. I probably either I didn't see it or like I was getting food or whatever. But
well, it was so quick that like if you weren't actively watching, because even when it happened real time, it wasn't like right up on what was going on, but like like I saw it and I was just like, nah, no, there's no way I just saw that. So, funny.
That was before YouTube, so it's not like you just go look it up. It's just
it wasn't like Instagram, real time Twitter where you could just see it instantly and watch it. Like you had to wait, and like it was weird. It was I remember seeing that live, and I had to wait an extra day to like validate that I wasn't going crazy.
So 2004.
Yeah, bro.
Wait for stuff. Cool. So to get into some music stuff, I know that you love teaching and are big into theory. So I was just wondering if you had any advice for like anyone looking to get into theory, maybe specifically for like metalheads, because I know that's kind of a thing where like a lot of, probably both of our heroes like don't really know theory. I was just wondering if you have any like tips for people getting into that.
Yeah, bro. My advice is you have to really want to learn it. Like you have to actively seek it out because it's not just going to happen if you casually dive into it. I view theory as very math oriented. I always teach everybody I teach, I always say it's just like third grade math. It's not hard, but there's a lot of things that you have to always remember. It's like with any skill, like how did you learn how to spell as a kid? You drilled it for years. Like how'd you learn how to do your times tables as a kid? You had to drill it for years, all that stuff. So it's like, it's no different than that. So like, just because you like to play guitar and you can play guitar very, very well, doesn't mean that theory is just going to be a 1-for-1, like swap, I guess we'll say. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're really good at guitar, that doesn't mean you're going to be really good at theory naturally. You could be, but you have to really actively want to learn it. And like, how I learned it was I made flashcards, just like in elementary school. I made flashcards of all the different scales, all the different intervals, all the different chords and chord spellings and chord qualities, all that stuff. And like, I just drilled it. That's the only way I knew how to do it. And I'm so thankful I did, because now I'm able to, supplement my income, call it how it is, teaching. And I love that. Like I have that theory up top. Theory didn't make me a better player physically, but like I now can understand and comprehend what I'm doing on the instrument.
Right.
And that is just so freeing. Like, it's just so amazing to be able to like, oh, I'm doing a minor ninth interval right there. That's why it sounds so cool, for example. Like I love that I'm able to discern and decipher what I'm doing on the fretboard now. So like my advice, long story short, you just got to want to like really be obsessed with it, because I'm obsessed with it and I love it. So that's my advice.
Cool. And I don't know if it's the same for you, but I feel like at least me, like learning theory, like it kind of unlocks something in my brain where like I don't know if it's the same for you, but writing songs just like comes a little easier and a little quicker because it's like you said, like you know what puzzle pieces go where, and you can also do
Absolutely.
the yeah, you can also do the opposite where it's like learn the rules to break them, where it's like I'm not gonna use any of this shit that I know.
Yeah, it's like you're absolutely right, bro. And like for me, I'm basically going to say the same thing that you just said, but for me, it's like the guesswork is gone.
Mhm.
I'm not guessing. Oh, is this going to work or is this going to sound good? I just like I know. Like I always teach with emotions in mind. I want something heavy. What can I use from a theory standpoint that will give me that heavy sound? It's like
Mhm.
minor seconds, tritones, minor ninths, major sevenths. To just make those on the fretboard and then decide if you like it or not, you
Yeah.
know? But like, I'm not like, I don't know if you ever did this, like when you're a kid, like you try to make up a chord, like you
Oh
just
yeah.
you just put your hands in like your fingers in random spots and like you just make it up and hope it sounds good.
Yeah.
So like, I think the songwriting thing for me doesn't necessarily come any faster for me personally,
Mhm.
but like I'm able to eliminate any guesswork and I just go for what I know will give me that sound. And then, like you said, you can decide if you want to use it or break the rules and just do your own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm like 90% in agreement with you, but that's just it's a personal difference on how I write songs. Like
Yeah, for sure.
sometimes it takes me months to write a song. Sometimes it takes me an afternoon, and
Yeah.
it sucks how like it's like you just never know.
Right.
Like
Right.
today going to be an easy day or is today going to be crap? You just never
Right.
know, but you just got to
Yeah,
keep trying.
for sure. And then did you get into theory? Was that like something one of your teachers taught you, or did you get like I was like I learned it through school. Like we had a music theory class, and I was in dorky like concert band. I played like the marimba and shit just
Oh,
because like,
sweet man, that's awesome.
I didn't know you couldn't play guitar in concert band, so I just showed up one
Yeah,
day. Like, all right, you got to play like snare drum and all the percussion shit. But so did you get through it through like school, or was it just on your own?
it
How
was
did you
all
get?
through school. I started in community college, and then I went to the University of the Arts in Center City, Philadelphia. Um, and I did that after I got out of the military.
Okay.
When I got out of the military, I didn't. I've never been one to want to get a job that I really truly dislike. Like
Mhm.
work is work. Like no matter what your job is, it turns into work. It can be a little mundane at times, but I didn't want to get a job that I truly hated.
Mhm.
I really didn't want to do that because I loved the military. I was I thought I was I thought I was living the dream, being an infantryman, well, an artilleryman first, and an infantryman. So I wanted to learn. I wanted to go to school after military, and I wanted to be in the music business. So
Okay.
it was a necessity, but it was also a choice of
Mhm.
what's my next step. You know, I have a very unorthodox life path and career path. I went from a soldier to a musician, as
Mhm.
as one does. Pretty
Naturally.
pretty yeah, naturally, right? Pretty uncommon. Seriously, pretty uncommon
Yeah.
trajectory of how one's life can go. Um, so like I was just so passionate. Like I want to be as good as I can at the instrument because I had started my YouTube channel at the tail end of my military career because I knew I was getting out.
Mhm.
So I was like, all right, what am I going to do now that I can't do military anymore? So that's just was a creative choice. And so I got it through school, but like I went and sought it all out and I went after it.
Cool. And do you have any favorite scales or modes you like to write in or anything, or does it just kind of depend on the day?
Good question. I truly love the major scale the most.
Okay.
Because it's like, it's like everybody calls it like the granddaddy scale. It's like
Mhm.
apart from the chromatic scale, which isn't really even a scale, it's just literally all the notes. Like
Yeah.
the major scale is like the first scale, and all modes are derivatives of the major scale. They're all inside of the major scale when you think of it that way. Minor scales inside the major scale. Like the major scale is like ground zero. That's like where
Right.
everything branches off from.
Mhm.
So I use the major scale all the time and I love it. I love to write in major. I love my choruses to be very major sounding. Very I kind of I don't like the word happy, even though I agree with it. But like for metal, happy doesn't really work. So like I think
Yeah.
like I think
Yeah.
epic. I think like epic and grand.
Mhm.
That's like what I think of with major. So like I try to make my choruses at times very major.
Yeah.
So that's just like my starting point. And then when I want to deviate from that, I do. But yeah, that's my favorite one to practice, my favorite one to use as a guideline, all the above.
It's so like satisfying too, the way how like symmetrical it is, just the same pattern, two strings and two strings and two strings.
Yeah, yeah, the 3 note per string run, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Two, like three groups of, right? Yeah, 3 groups of 3 essentially, right? No,
Yep.
no, three
Or
groups
two.
of 2. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
What's what's your favorite scale or mode or what you like to play and write in?
Mm.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got some questions too.
Oh no. um, I gotta go E minor, man. I love E
Ooh,
minor.
specific key signature too.
I love it. G major. I mean, obviously that's a relative major, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
fucking love that. A lot of what I've been doing recently, and this is probably why I said earlier about how stuff comes a little quicker, is I do a lot of guitar loops now. I'm trying to get into like the. I don't know if you're like trying to think of like Lil Peep or like Lil Uzi, like the sad boy type shit, like music wise.
I don't even know who those people are. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
all good. But it's a
I'm sh-
lot of like SoundCloud type shit. So it's a lot of
okay.
like emo and like so I'll break out my Martin acoustic and write these like, you know, little sad little jams and chord progressions, and I'll put some stuff on top. So it's a lot of like it's not like full blown songs. So I think that's why for me I was saying if they come a little quicker, I'm not doing like I am getting back into writing fuller stuff. But anyway, to answer your question, yeah, E minor. Um I don't know. That's what I feel like so many like Metallica, like whatever metal in general. That he just always sounds great. I
Yeah.
love how even in if you use just like E minor pentatonic and you just throw in that F sharp, it just like I don't know has a little nice vibe to it. But yeah, I'd say that. But as far as modes, I love Locrian. I love how evil it sounds and the like the especially like in E minor, the F sharp to G to me F sharp's like a really nasty key. So I would
Yeah.
say E minor,
I
bro.
I can agree with the whole like F sharps would I think that's like my second favorite note, but my favorite note is F natural. Like
Okay.
I think that's the gnarliest like that it like nothing beats just that open F for me, like in my baritone writing and stuff. Like I think it's like nothing sounds better. And then when you go open one F to F sharp,
Yeah. Yeah.
dude, game over. You know what I mean? Like forget about it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's funny you say that because now that I'm thinking, is so like I'm what riff is it? Is it Killing in the Name? The I don't know. Shit, the Rage song. I'm blanking. The is that
Oh,
is
Bulls on Parade. Yeah,
Hold on
that's
for
F
it, yeah.
sharp. That's F sharp. Yeah, yeah. It's just two
Right.
4 octaves. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And is that a half step down too?
No, that's in standard, I believe.
That isn't standard? Okay. Because I
Yeah,
was gonna say that's part of where I was like when I was a little kid, I was like, that shit's nasty. And
yeah.
so okay. I was thinking, oh yeah, because they did standard and then drop D, right?
Correct.
Okay, there wasn't a lot of okay. I must be thinking of like Alice in Chains because they did the drop C sharp thing and that E flat, I think, standard.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Getting into a little nerd territory here.
Dude,
But
I'd never had these conversations with anybody, so the fact that I can have this conversation with you, it's like I'm like super stoked. You know what I mean? Like, I never get to nerd out about this stuff because
well, I appreciate it as well because I also don't get to talk to anybody about it.
yeah,
So it's
it
nice.
it does for metal like it doesn't really translate on a broad spectrum. Like you know, I'm a YouTuber as are you, obviously. To you know, that's what we're doing tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people in the metal guitar community, and I'm totally stoked on it. But like, it's more gear, more tones,
Yeah.
more everything but what we're doing. Like,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Like, it's you know, it
Mhm.
is what it is. It's how the genre is. So like, when you get somebody that you can talk theory with, it's like, oh yeah, bro. Like now we're talking, pun intended. You know what I mean? Like
For
now I'm
sure. I think
super, yeah.
yeah.
So
I think that's part of why I was like drawn to your channel too, is because like you go into the nitty gritty of like the tunings. Like I always get obsessed with like I need to know like what tuning they used, and like you do the theory on like you know some of Slipknot's like drop B stuff, and like I don't sometimes when I'm covering their stuff, I don't even think like oh what key is this in, but then once I do, it's like oh shit, Jim uses like he uses Phrygian a lot in his solos, and like he doesn't even know theory, so it's like crazy to me that like he can hear it and he knows what it is in his mind, but he doesn't have the like whatever technical knowledge of it. It's just crazy to me that he like his brain works that way.
Yeah, and a lot of people have brought that up because of the obvious, that video that's very, very popular on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people ask me about that, and it's like, well, because you don't know theory doesn't mean you don't know what sounds good. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
all scales, generally speaking, sound great and they sound correct. You know what I mean? There's unless it's like a weird, obscure, exotic scale,
Mm-hmm.
most scales sound correct. Because talking about modes tonight, all the modes are just inside of the major scale. So it's like, it's literally a mode. Pardon me, a mode is literally a major scale just played at a different starting point. So if you think of it that way, it's like, of course they're going to sound good. So whether it's Phrygian, Locrian, those are very evil because they got minor seconds, and Locrian has a tritone in it. It doesn't matter. Like, it's still a major scale. So it's still going to sound correct.
Right.
And that's pleasing to the mind and to the ear.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily need to know what you're doing, but you know what sounds good. Like, major
Right.
scales, they sound good. Modes sound good. So I think that's where that kind of comes from. I've done some serious thinking about, like, why is that? How can you not know theory but know it all at the same time, intuitively and instinctively? And I think that's why.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes sense that like me being Joe Schmo, like I felt like, okay, I need to learn every single thing. But some of those guys, I feel like were just born to write those riffs and just know that it's like that's what sounds good and that's what they're going with. But I go like crazy over like I need to know every note I'm putting in and all that stuff. But
For sure, bro.
yeah. Cool. So speaking of more theory stuff, and like tunings, I was wondering like what got you into the low tunings, because I feel like as your channel's evolved, like I've seen you with, the 7 strings and the baritones and stuff, but with your
Mm-hmm.
early videos, like I remember just like straight up 6 strings and Slipknot and Pantera and stuff. So I just wondering if you could walk me through like what got you into kind of like the baritone guy.
For sure. Yeah, I truly don't have the answer off the top of my head, so like let me think kind of out loud right now. Like, for me, I like I'm a huge fan of like rhythm and vibes and the bounce. I always call it the bounce,
Mm-hmm.
which is, getting back to pop. Pop music's very bouncy. It's very, it's made to make people dance.
Mm-hmm.
It's why it's in the clubs. It's why it's on the top 40. It's made to make people dance and enjoy themselves. And as it translates to metal, like, breakdowns are the best thing about metal music. Like, I've never seen a wall of death because of a sweep picking or solo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep, yep, yep.
people love rhythm. People like vibe heavily with the rhythm section.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I personally view like music. I love the feel, I love the vibe, the bounce. So, I started YouTube with covers and diving into Van Halen and Slipknot and a little bit of Zakk Wylde in there at times, Pantera occasionally, Zeppelin occasionally. Like, I was covering all the songs and all the bands that I love, but it came a point in time where it's like, what do I have to say with the instrument?
Mm.
When it's my turn to create, what comes out? And I learned through trial and error and just over time, man, I can do pretty good with a solo if I need to write one. And I love solos at times, but truthfully, bro, like, nothing is ever cooler than like Walk by Pantera.
Absolutely.
Like, that opening riff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even a huge Pantera fan. Like, I'm really not. Like, I'm like a greatest hits Pantera fan. Like,
Okay.
I think that is truly the best metal riff of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And then people laugh at this. I say the second best metal riff of all time. Where's my finger? I'm trying to show my finger or my hand. I mean, is Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
And people laugh at that. I'm like, what are you laughing at? Like, listen to that. It's a power chord and a tritone, and that's it. And that is arguably one of the most recognizable riffs of all time.
Yeah.
So getting into my answer here, like, I came a point in time, I was like, bro, I just love bounciness. I love vibes. I love making people dance with my music. whether it's literally dancing or just bobbing your head and like, you know, doing this face, like, oh, like, like that's the best, bro. So when it came a point in time in my career, because this is a career now, it was a hobby, now it's become a career. Mm-hmm. When it's my turn to create, what comes out is the bounce, the feel, the vibe. And I couldn't get that out enough until I started going lower and lower and lower. And then I started to realize once you go lower, get longer and longer and longer to compensate. Mm-hmm. Then use some Jazzmaster single coils or some P90s now with my new Harley Benton, or a Harley Benton Bass 6 that's in the box downstairs. Like all that, like it was just perfect. Like I finally found it. Like drop F, baritone, 30-inch single coil. It's everything I could ever want when creating. So like that's where that all came from.
Now, can you explain? I never understood. So why can you explain why single coils work in that context? Because to me, when I think of heavy, obviously I think of like EMGs and like whatever. But like, is it because the frequencies are so low or something? Like, why do they do that with?
Yeah. So when you tune low, yeah, it's like the frequencies. It just gets super muddy. It's like if you were to plug like, that's not a good. Never mind. I was gonna say plug a bass amp into a guitar, but that's not even a good analogy. But what I'll say is this: like when you down tune low and you get lower frequencies, the lower frequencies is what muddies the guitar tone up. Mm-hmm. And I only figured that out from watching thousands of YouTube videos and recording myself every single day for 6 years. Mm-hmm. So when you tune super low, the low end just like takes over everything. And when you have a single coil, the low end just gets chopped off at the knees. Like it's just gone. And what's left is the pure essence of the guitar tone. All the mid-range and all the high end, the good high end is right in there. All that low end that has been built up no longer exists. So like single coils like an E standard sound atrocious for metal because they're so thin. But when you add the super thickness of drop F, we'll say, and compensate it with the super thinness of single coils, you get a nice happy marriage between the two. And it's just this weird phenomenon that I never knew existed until I grabbed until I found the Squier baritone Jazzmaster. Yeah. And then once I found that in 2020, I was just like, oh my God, it doesn't even sound like a guitar. It sounds like a piano or something. Mm-hmm. It sounds like it's so clear and so interesting. And like, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, I want you to go.
I was looking into the. Are you familiar with the Squier? I think it's the paranormal series, like Cabernita Telly baritone.
Yes.
So like that, since like I was telling you, like I DM'd you the other day, and I was looking at the like Mike Mushok PRS ones and stuff like that, and I was like, ooh, this looks like, you know, it's a little more affordable because, you know, I don't want to spend a ton. I would like to try one, but I also don't want to like spend a ton of money just in case I don't like it. But I was looking at the telly and it had the P90s, and I made a point to like, I was like, I have to ask Xander about that because I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, go ahead.
Like the pickup for baritone, like would you say like P90s?
So say that again. I'm sorry. I started to speak. I was being rude. Could you say that again?
So like would you say is the P90 your favorite pickup for baritones that you've tried?
It's either P90s or Jazzmasters. I mean, they're like literally the same thing, and people really don't know the difference visually. I have to correct them, but audibly, orally, I guess I should say, I couldn't discern the difference. So,
okay.
I have a bass 6 downstairs, which is a bass guitar with 6 strings, 30 inches, literally the same thing, but now it's a bass.
Right.
I've yet to try that, but I'd like to think it's the same thing. So in my opinion, to answer your question, right now, today, it doesn't matter what the pickup is. As long as it's a single coil, it does almost identical, like the exact identical tone. And that's nothing but a good thing and a plus for all that.
Yeah. Yeah. The only guy I can think of that, like use a single coil for metal is Yngwie, and I love him, but I can totally see how people like hate his tone because it is very shrill. But
and it's just a different completely different world. I mean, he's,
True, yeah.
you know, I don't need to say this, but he's obviously like an absolute master at the craft at what he does,
Yeah.
and like it's amazing. Like I don't understand why people feel the need to hate on, like, bro, it's Yngwie Malmsteen. He's like he's like an alien. He's so good at the instrument. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, so like I will never. I can understand, like, you know, he has he has one style.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know, a million miles an hour. And that's amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like it can be a little shrill, but you know, he's running through like Marshalls, which are very like, people call it like glassy and like super clear and articulate. That's why I love the JVM, which is just out of frame, because of how clear and like no low end there is.
Okay.
But like, yeah, like that sound, a Strat sound in metal is it's pretty shrill and pretty kind of piercing. I would agree with that, but
yeah,
you know, if you can get past that, listen to how amazing that dude is. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely, yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I actually have his signature pickups in
dope.
Made in Mexico Strat. Yeah, they sound great. Like, I don't necessarily use them for like the metal stuff, but they sound great. And yeah, definitely, like, it's cool hearing too, like, everything that you hear, because like I need to get better at like the audio end of things. Like, I'm confident in my guitar playing, but like it's cool how, like, you know, you have this whole other angle where, like, you know, you're describing the way the amps sound, and like you said, like, I'm assuming you like mix all your stuff for your videos and everything. So I definitely got to pick your brain about gear and stuff. But back to I did have another question about the tunings. So can you walk me through the double drop C sharp?
Yeah, bro. So if you give me 2 seconds, I have some friends with me. I can bring them.
Absolutely, yes.
All right, give me 1 second.
Sure. I'll say what's up to the chat. What's up, everybody?
All right, so
all right,
this is a Digitech drop pedal.
Yes, sir.
So what I do is I just go all the way down to the octave. Right there, the next to last one. It's the octave. So like I just drop it an octave.
Okay.
So drop C sharp is like my second favorite tuning, because, you know, I spent my whole YouTube career essentially trying to master theory, and then like I don't like the way standard tuning or drop D sounds. So like I go to drop C sharp because it gives it that little kind of, it's a little sour sounding, you know, very Alice in Chains, you know, shit like that.
Yep.
Van Halen, obviously. So like I love drop C sharp, but it's not heavy enough for me, I guess we'll say, at times. So what I do is, like, when I'm double drop C, sharpen it up, I go octave, drop it an octave.
Okay.
And then I use an overdrive pedal, because when you use these things, they lose signal, like just inherently, especially when you go all the way down an octave. Like it flubs out pretty quickly. It just gets like, it doesn't come through when you're, you know, a full octave lower. So I give it an overdrive to compensate, you know, give it a kick in the pants. And then, like, in a song I wrote called Neck Brace, I'm using I used my Solar, I believe it was my Solar, and I used is the Fluff Fishman, and I did the push pull, and then it turned into a single coil.
Oh, okay.
Single coil sound, double drop C sharp, get rid of all the mud, just the gnarly clank. And like that guitar tone doesn't even sound real. It sounds like artificial in some capacity. It sounds like a plugin trying to emulate, you know, it sounds like a MIDI like instrument trying to emulate a guitar sound, because it just sounds so like otherworldly at times. So like that's how I get that. And then another song I have on my first album called Endorphins, that's my Gibson Les Paul standard, and it doesn't have a split coil. That's just a real humbucker. And if you compare and contrast those two songs specifically, like Endorphins very kind of sludgy sounding, and Neck Brace is very like, just like I said, otherworldly sounding. So like that's how I kind of toy with that. And then the song I did with Tom Barber from Chelsea Grin and Darko, I use that Solar guitar, and that's like back and forth between double drop and just regular drop C. But like the opening riff and the breakdown is single coil double drop C sharp.
Okay.
So that's how I go about doing it.
Very cool. Because I was wondering, because like I think for your
giving away all my secrets, bro.
Yeah, my bad.
No, dude. I mean, I didn't. I don't think maybe I invented that specifically, but so what? Like,
Yeah.
I rip off everybody, as we all do.
Yes.
All doing
Well,
the same thing. So
for sure.
who cares?
I forget if it was your playthrough for, because I was gonna ask you that. That was on my sheet. Because I thought Neck Brace and Endorphins were both in that tuning. I
They are.
forget
Yeah.
if was. Did you do? I can't remember which one, but you played like your Toro for the playthrough of it
Yeah.
on your channel. I don't know if it was Neck Brace or Endorphins, but I was like, how the fuck is he doing that? Like, because it was like that's a 25.5 inch scale, right? So you're just playing
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sharp, but then with the drop pedal and with the overdrive. Very
Exactly.
cool.
And then like anytime there's a lead, like Endorphins, a solo, regular
Mhm.
drop C sharp, subtle comeback with Tom Barber, like the verses and the chorus is all just regular drop C, but then the main riff and the breakdown, I just, I didn't record it live. I did it in segments, but
Right.
I would just use this. And then like in the event that I ever need to play that song live or do a live playthrough or whatever, I would just be tap dancing like on a pedal board, going back and forth.
Gotcha. Are you a random question, but are you a Stray from the Path fan at all?
I am not. I couldn't name one song.
Okay, because their guitarist Tom reminds me of that kind of the way you like to use effects. He'll do so he's known for like live. He'll do all of like the sampling. They have a lot of weird like guitar parts that like atmospheric stuff. So he'll record it live and then like punch it in, and then he'll play like he'll do the same thing. He's a big Tom Morello guy, so he has like the Digitech whammy. So he'll
Oh,
like drop
cool.
it in an octave. They play in drop C, but he'll drop
Okay.
it in an octave and then play the sample. So the sample is like going on in the background, this crazy like whatever atmospheric stuff. But he's doing it all live, which is pretty crazy because like
Yeah,
you
that's
know
awesome.
a lot of people do like whatever they'll use whatever tracks through I don't even know Logic or Ableton, which is sick too. But I just like that he does it like manually. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and yeah, speaking on tracks, like I will never ever knock anybody for
Yeah,
using tracks unless it's your literal instrument.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's
That's fair.
obvious, but like, bro, like if you have a violin part
Yeah,
on your song,
yeah,
you're not, or like an orchestral part, you're not going to tour with an orchestra. So like,
yeah.
you're like, legends like Eddie Trunk, Trunk Nation, like always talks about that. But like, bro, come on, man, like the
Keep
music
them
business.
like
The
gotta
music business has no money. The music business has no
yeah,
money in it anymore. For right now, it's been in a lull for like 20 years. So like, we're still trying to
yeah.
figure out how to make money again. So like, for the time being, cut some bands some slack, bro. The Stones aren't and Zeppelin aren't ruling the world anymore. Like times are
Yeah,
changing, bro.
gotta get with
It's like it's just different times.
yeah, for sure. And then the album we're talking about is Chronic Pain. If anyone hasn't listened to Xander's record, definitely check that out.
Oh,
Um,
thanks, man.
yeah, of course. And so it's funny because my next question was like you were saying with the tunings that low. Like I was gonna say, like I can like when I was listening to it in my headphones, I can like feel this like uneasiness in my gut because it's so like unbelievably low. I was just wondering, like, um, and obviously metal to me, and I'm sure for you and for a lot of people is very like cathartic. I was wondering, if those tunings are specifically like to get out a certain emotion or like what you're feeling when you're like writing those songs.
It's a good question. I will say, emotion. No, like the only emotion I ever try to create is just like, does this like does this make me feel? Period. Like,
Mhm.
does it make me feel? And then fill in the blank. That's just the end goal. Like I wrote Endorphins. Like I think that's a happy song. Like I think that song's like fun, but like
Yeah,
it's super gnarly all at the same time. So like I don't write with emotion in mind. I write with feel. Like, does it make me, like, straight up, bro? Like, does it make me do this?
hmm yeah,
Like if I'm doing that, like I'm winning. I think it's a good track or whatever. So like emotions and tunings are irrelevant. Like they're not, like drop F isn't angry, drop C sharp is happy, blah blah blah. It's
hmm
like I write with the same, like I start a song with the same like playing field, like demeanor about myself, which is just
yeah,
like, hey, let's try to write something cool today.
yeah,
And however it manifests itself and however it comes out, it's just how it is. But good question. Yeah, no, it's not like, all right, here comes angry, drop F. No,
gotcha.
it's just sometimes I just pick up like I'll pick up a guitar and like drop C sharp, we'll say, and like I'll be
Yeah.
riffing. I'm like, I can't come up with anything. Grab my baritone, drop F. I can't come up with anything. Go back to drop C sharp. Let's use this guy. All right, now we're on to something. So like it's just always just trial and error, just trying to be creative. And it's not like a 1-for-1. I'm gonna write happy today or whatever. But good, but really good question.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny. I guess it's just how in general, like how different people perceive music. Like that's the whole point of art, right? Is to like we all have different experiences with it. And I guess part of it's probably because like this whole world is like so new to me. I'm like, holy shit, like to you it sounds happy. To me, like I noticed the melodicism and like this is really catchy, but to me I'm still like, holy shit, this is like the deepest shit I've ever heard. Like it's so heavy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. But it's super like I was like, I gotta find more shit like this. I know a lot of people say like the Doom soundtrack and stuff like that. I know.
Yeah, I've got, and it's funny. I swear to God, people won't believe me, but I swear on my life, I've never played. I've never played. Is that a game or is it several games? I truly don't know.
So it's a series, but I think what they're referring to is like in 2016 or something they rebooted it, and it's like the soundtrack to that video game. Like I have it, but
okay,
I like your stuff more. Like I don't like people are just like I think it's like very people love compartmentalizing things and being like, oh, this sounds like this, and it's like, bro, like it's not the same at all.
And so like let me finish like the rest of that story. Like I never heard of the game, I never heard the soundtrack. Then when I went back and I listened, I was like, oh yeah, obviously I understand where people are coming from. And to me, that is nothing but a compliment, like straight up. And like I say, I swear on my life, I've never heard of it because, that has been thrown around quite a bit. And I totally see it. But like, to me, like people have been saying things sound like Metallica, Megadeth, Zeppelin, Van Halen, Anthrax, Iron Maiden, et cetera, for eons. And that's just like you said, that's what people do. They compartmentalize things and they just need like a reference point, and that's cool. But like the whole low double drop F thing is just like when it's my turn to create, that's just what comes out. I'm not a gifted musician from like a super proggy shreddy type of world. I'm not that good at that, and that's okay. But what I am good at is fun bouncy riffs with moods, vibes, and ambience along the way. So the whole Doom thing, dude, that's thanks. Like that's a great compliment. I really sincerely appreciate that, because after listening to that, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, and people say I sound like that. Cool, and I don't like I don't hate that, for lack of a better word. Like I think that's totally acceptable, and I see where people are coming from.
For sure. Yeah, I need to learn more of your like that's actually one of my questions. Like I feel like you always handle everything, like anyone who's watched your vlogs, like there's been so much like drama that you've been through with bands and stuff and everything, but you always handle everything with like such class and like a smile on your face and stuff. So I really commend you for that. And like,
thanks,
I was just wondering, I was just wondering how you like persevere through everything. I know you've been through a lot, and like you just you just did a song with Tom Barber. Like you got to deal with Sweetwater, which congrats on that. Like you worked with everyone in the music industry. Like how do you just keep persevering and going?
It's a thank you. First, I sincerely appreciate all of that. I really do. How I always just like. I don't want to be old and look back and be like, wow, I wasted my life not pursuing my dreams. That's why I wanted to like go to school for music at age 26. I had already had a career. I was a platoon leader, a lieutenant in the United States Army as an infantryman. Like that's a huge accomplishment right there. And that I lost that due to injury. So like, I chose that profession at a college because I didn't want to go do a job. I wasn't ready. So like now I'm in the music business, which is incredibly competitive and stressful and hard and not guaranteed. But I would much rather live that life than sit back and retire at age 65 with a career that I didn't want ever anyway. And truthfully, dude, who knows? Maybe next year, maybe I will be out of the music business. Something can always happen in life. Life's very unpredictable, but at least I now can look back and say, you know what? I tried. I went for it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that is always super, super in the front of like super prominent in the front of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Or like I just don't want to ever regret living because we only got one life. And I've lost a lot of family members, lost all my family members except my mother on my, my actual like birth side. My mom's the only one left now. I lost a lot of friends to suicide, to war, to illness, to car accidents. And I'm still here. I'm still alive. So while I'm still alive, I want to do something cool with my life. So all the nonsense that I've been through with whatever, whatever example there is out there, it's like I just want to keep going and keep trying. That's just how my brain works. And I guess I'm just wired a little bit differently than the norm because it's incredibly scary to try to pursue your dreams at times.
Yeah. Wow. I don't even know how to follow that up. That's like the best answer I've gotten on any interview.
Oh, thanks, man. No, it's all good, brother. It's true. Hey, it's true. It's just,
no, it's inspiring for sure. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So I've noticed, some like gorgeous Les Pauls lately in your collection. Was that the Adam Jones you just had?
No, bro, that was hold on, I'll show you. So I bought this off of Reverb, and it had a broken head. This is just a regular Gibson Les Paul custom.
Okay, yeah.
And I bought it off of Reverb, and I bought it with the headstock was broken and repaired, and then it showed up to my doorstep with the headstock broken again. So I was super bummed. It's on my channel, the unboxing, and shout out to Reverb. They were like, well, you can either return it or we can give you a discount and an estimate to fix it, and or at the very least, however you choose to fix it, but at the very least, take some money off because it's not what you bought. It's damaged again.
Yeah.
So I literally just grabbed some tight bond glue and a clamp from Lowe's for like $6, and I just glued it like almost out of anger. Like I was like, the hell with this. Like I ain't paying $400 for a luthier. I'll try it my way, and if it doesn't work, then then I have to go there anyway. But let me just try. So long story short, I just like put an obnoxious and ignorant amount of glue, let it sit for 24 hours, and then I have like my dream guitar now, a Gibson Les Paul custom. Yeah, it's like it tripped out a lot of like luthiers, and I didn't realize there was like so many experts on like guitar building and guitar repairs. There's like 20,000 of them apparently. I had no idea. Just like I didn't like. There's so many like pun intended, woodwork. There you go.
Yeah, right.
Like just like there's so many like Grammy nominated artists in my comment section that tell me how horrible I am. I had no idea that there are so many out there. It's quite fascinating. So obviously being silly, but like long story short, I glued it. I was like, dude, the hell with this. I'm just gonna glue it. Yeah. I know how to use I know how to use a glue bottle. Like I can do that, and it's still held up. So yeah, I mean, I've tried to get away from Les Pauls truthfully throughout the years, but like that's just my guitar. Like, and I'm not even like married to the brand Gibson, like
for sure.
Because it's like the Gibson brand is not like, how do I say this? Like Gibson's very classic rock, dad rock as they call it. And like, obviously it's not how I am, but for me, like I just can't get Jimmy Page out of my head. I can't get Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols out of my head. I can't get Zakk Wylde out of my head. It's just like, that is a guitar for me. Like, a 6-string, not baritone guitar. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think to me, it's like the most attractive bodies type I've ever seen on a guitar. Like it's always been my favorite.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah. To me, it's like, I don't know, man, the curves, like womanly. I don't know what it is, man.
Whoa, dude.
My brain, but like,
dude, hey, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm just messing around. I truly think Strats are the coolest. Like,
yeah, I play the most Strats. Like I have the most Strats. Oh, is that the okay, the EVA.
This isn't a real guitar. I don't know. I'm not trying to deceive you, but
not a real guitar.
Yeah, in case you guys are wondering. Like I just think Strats are the coolest, but like I'm not as comfortable on them. Like, and you've played Strats and in the past. I've seen you with a black one, all blacked out Jim Root. Like it's amazing. So
yeah, I do love Strats. I have Eric Johnson is my favorite guitar player actually. So like I have
awesome, great choice, bro.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, man. I'm seeing him for the eighth time, I think, in September. I can't wait. But I have a made in Mexico strat that I think we were talking about before we went live, but or no, we were talking about with the Ingve stuff. I have the Ingve pickups in that. It's like a burst with maple board, which is the only time I like maple boards are on strats for some reason. I just like the kind of higher end spankiness of it, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if there's like a guitar out there with a maple board that I like other than a Strat.
What about you? You had a Charger, right, or like a Descent, the Reverends? Were those
Yeah,
two?
Descent, Reverend Descent. Oh yeah, that Silververse baritone.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like Ebony and Rosewood
That's
is
what
like
I'm all about.
like yeah, like they're all dark fretboards pretty much back there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like Rosewood, but I think it's the least appealing visually. But
I agree.
I think it just feels the best. Like I don't
I'm with you.
I've tried to like stop using the tone wood thing
Yeah,
just for my own like sanity because like all of
Mhm.
a sudden, all these luthiers and recording engineers come out of the woodwork and they tell me how wrong I am and I'm
right.
so thankful that they exist. But you know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's true anymore.
Yeah,
And I've done a little bit of testing myself and I'm not sure yet, but I think Rosewood feels the best at the very least. I think that feels really comfortable. But
I'm with you
yeah.
on that. I like the look of Ebony the best, but I like the yeah. I think I like the feel of Rosewood the best. Even on like a Strat, like I have a Warmouth Strat. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They just make like Fender
Mm,
parts basically.
yeah, I know Warmouth.
Cool. So like I have a Strat of theirs. It's all Warmouth parts, and it's a burst, but it has the um rosewood board. So I kind of like that. I think those look really classy, especially like a six like my dream Strat would be like a 62 like candy apple red Strat or something like that. I just
Ooh.
like those ones are very
Cool, bro.
very good.
Dude, I just went to the guitar show in Oaks. It's going on tomorrow too. I don't know if you've heard about it, but I was there
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
and
You were there
I
today?
felt, yeah, I was there. This dude, I've had
Oh
a
shit.
very busy day. I was there this morning. Then my friend
Yeah.
Gerard came over, and
Okay.
do you know who Lauren Babick is?
Yeah, the vocalist.
Yeah, yeah. So he
Yep.
just toured with her
Oh
in the
shit.
spring. Her guitar player, his name's Gerard, came over. We were just chilling 10 minutes before we are hanging out. Now I'm hanging out with you. So like
Yes.
I've had a busy day, but long story short, the guitar show, like
Awesome.
they had all
Yeah.
these old vintage strats. Like if you're not doing anything tomorrow, it's still going on. You can go check it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Cool.
but like
I've been
I don't.
there.
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I've been there a couple of times. I have a Flying V right here that I got um from one of those years shows. I love going to those shows.
Oh, okay. So I apologize for wasting your time explaining what it is.
No, no, you're good. Yeah, the V3 vintage shows. No, they're cool. It's funny because it's such a small world. Because it's like, what in the chances of like you and I like Oaks is like 20 minutes from me, so it's just
Oh
crazy. It's like
wow, yeah,
it could have been like I could have lived across the world, but we live like probably an hour from each other. But yeah.
yeah. Where do you live again? If you don't mind me asking. Like
So
what town?
I'll tell you off here, but like it's in
Okay,
the King of Prussia area, we'll
that
say.
and that's all I need. I didn't need like all right, Maple Street.
Yeah,
Make you
let me
go
write down my
left and
address.
then
Yeah, let me dox myself.
go on the roundabout. Yeah, yeah. No. I was just, that's totally fine. Yeah. Okay. KOP area. I know the area.
Yeah, yeah, we're
Cool, bro.
pretty close by. So if you ever want to like jam or ever want to collab on some music, I am down.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, absolutely, man. That'd be super rad.
Cool. And then so my follow up question to like the Les Paul thing was, and I've been seeing the Gritty Solar a lot. I was just wondering if like you're a free agent right now. I know your like endorsement ended recently, so I didn't know if you're like shopping around or just kind of free agenting right
Good
now.
question. Yeah, good question. Nah, dude. Like, so I was with Balaguer for 2 years, and that was like a pretty loose contract. And like, shout out to Balaguer. Like, they're really good people, man. They're awesome. They make amazing instruments. But they weren't naive to the fact that what I do, almost requires me to play a lot of instruments.
Mhm.
And I love them, and the door's always open with them. So they said, and so they said. And I'm not implying that they're. Never mind. Like we're
I
on
know.
good terms.
Yeah,
We're on good terms.
yeah,
I'm messing this up, but you know what I'm saying. Like everything's totally
yeah.
cool. But like for me, like I think I kind of just want to be a free agent right now. Like endorsements, I've learned from my own personal experience, endorsements are different than sponsorships.
Hmm.
Like endorsements, they meaning any random company, gives you things for free, and in return you play them. And like I say, shout out to Blackacre Guitars, because most endorsements are exclusive deals. And the deal is like, we'll give you free stuff and then we'll promote you.
Mhm.
But like right now in my life, I don't want to be locked into an exclusive thing, because I like all of my guitars that I already have. And like, if, I went through that whole spiel of how I write. I'd
Mhm.
name 3 guitars with 3 different tunings and 3 different ideas. For
Yep.
example, like creatively, I just don't want to limit myself, and I don't want to do the wrong thing.
Mm.
Like, I don't want to post a picture of me playing this guitar if I'm with another company.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, even out of like no ill intent, I just like my guitar and I want to play it. Now I can't,
You're right.
because now
Yeah.
I'm messing up. That's too much pressure for me. So like, down the road, I'm not at that level yet. I aspire to be at this level someday, but like a sponsorship where a company will pay me to play their guitar.
Right.
Now we're talking. That's different,
Yep.
because like an endorsement, I can't go to the grocery store with a guitar and buy lettuce. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. And
You're
I
like,
can't buy that.
you don't take Blackacre guitars? I have to use my credit card? What the fuck?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So like, that's why I keep saying shout out to Blackacre Guitars, because they knew going into it, like what I do for a living.
Yeah.
Oftentimes demoing and reviewing gear as well as my own creative stuff. So that's why I love them so much. And now that it's over, I'm in no rush to do it again. Like, I love the guitars that I have now from Blackacre Guitars. And truthfully, like, I don't want another guitar. I have all the guitars I really want right now. So like, it's almost like I love my Blackacre guitars now. I don't need another one. I'm so humbled that I even had that opportunity. But for right now, I'm kind of just chilling right now. So,
Cool.
Yeah, that's just like kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of just like let it all digest, and like really, really evaluate like what I learned from my first guitar endorsement. Because I think I got lucky with my first guitar endorsement because it was so amazing and they were so good to me. So like, I'd hate to get another endorsement and not enjoy it as much and not be as free in that regard. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And also local brand shout out Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, dude, Pottstown, right down the road, bro. I love Blackacre. They're like, seriously, Joe and the team, amazing. Like, if anybody's watching or listening and you don't know about Blackacre guitars, dude, go check them out. They're super cool, and the company and the people behind the company are some of the best in the business. And that's through years of doing this. It's kind of hard to find at times. So when you find good people, you kind of want to gravitate towards them. So yeah, Blackacre guitars, they're awesome.
Cool. They get the XRC thumbs up approval.
Oh yeah, and I don't give those out a lot. No, that's like literally, that's the first time I've ever done that.
I've actually never played any of their stuff. I think like Joe and I follow each other maybe, but I definitely want to check out their stuff, because obviously, like, I've seen you play them. They made guitars for Jim. Like, they have a lot of cool people on the roster. I think Andy from Every Time I Die.
Yep, he's got a signature with them.
Yeah, his signature's sick. So yeah, I gotta check them out for sure.
Yeah, bro.
What do we got next? Oh, so this is more of like a selfish question, but hopefully, some other people out there can relate to it too. I was wondering if you had any advice to like getting into like demoing gear, or like working with brands, trying to kind of make a name for yourself as far as like the YouTube guitar stuff goes.
For sure, bro. I don't think that's selfish at all. I think it's very that question has a lot of value. So it's a great question. Cool. Companies want to work with people who, one, have an audience, but two, who will get their product into the right eyes. Because just because you have an audience doesn't mean you're like a good. Let me start over. You want to have an audience. You want to have people have eyes on you, but you also want to, like, in my opinion, truthfully, like, want to represent the brand in a favorable way. Meaning, like, you want to be able to like work with a company that you want to use, and like work with their products that use the products that they have, and you want to work with them because you like their products, not because of any other, other motives than that. So what I would recommend to anybody is like find several companies. Like, there's hundreds of them in this industry. Find like 10 that you really like. And what I would start doing is start posting products of theirs like on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, let's say I want to get sponsored by Gibson, right? Who wouldn't, right?
For sure.
What I would start doing hypothetically is I would just start promoting their product. Well, first you got to get one, buy it yourself, play it, and make it yours. From there, start making content with that product and start making videos or posts about how much you genuinely love it. Like, don't put a facade on just because you want to start working. Like, think of it this, like, why would you want to work with a company if you don't like it? Like,
For sure.
you know, it's kind of common sense. Like, pick a company that you like.
Mm-hmm.
So like companies want to see people like stoked on their product, and like that just gets you in front of their eyes. And just through constant not bombardment, so it has like a negative connotation, that word, but like constant just being in their eyes, that increases your chances.
Cool.
At the same time, you have to continually build your audience on your own. Because like if you don't have an audience, no company will want to work with you. Now you have an audience, so like you're on your way personally. But like again, anybody who's listening and watching, like you want to have an audience. Like if you're incredibly talented but you have 0 followers, a company's just not going to work with you. It just doesn't work like that. Yeah. So you have to build an audience and you have to engage with your audience. That's how you get the products, and that's how you get, you know, the endorsements, the sponsorships, stuff like that. And also too, you got to be a good person. I've found, I'd like to think I've built a pretty good reputation for myself of being somebody who's, you know, pretty positive and pretty kind. And that's not an act. That's just who I am. So that I guess I'm lucky that comes naturally or whatever. But you know, all that encompassing, you just have to just be really kind, work really hard, have an audience, build your audience, and promote products because you love them, not because you want to get them for free. Because that's an act. That's not genuine, and people aren't naive to that. So that's a long-winded answer, but that's just how I would go about approaching it.
Yeah, thank you. And like you said, people aren't dumb. Like I can definitely, and anyone can like sniff that out when it's like you can tell they would never play this thing or, you know, endorse whatever. So
yeah,
I think integrity goes a long way. I think that's why I like guys like you and like Ola. You know, it's just what you see is what you get, and it's just genuine. So I definitely appreciate that.
Oh, no worries, man. And one thing I would like to say, like as an addendum, a follow up to what I said, is like, don't love bomb a company
for sure
for like 2 days in a row and then expect, all right, like, you know, there's my, you know, where's my endorsement now? You know what I mean? It's like a long process. You know, I've been doing this a pretty long time now. I'm almost 7 years in, which is nuts to me to think about. So like 7 and working at it every single day, every single day, on Christmas, on New Year's, on my birthday, on my wife's birthday, like just always working at it in some capacity. So like, you know, it's not just going to be like, all right, here's my Instagram post of my guitar, and I get one now, right? Like, obviously it doesn't work that way, but some people, with the way the internet works now, the way the world works now, everything's so instantaneous, and people like expect to blow up right away. And when they don't, they get super like dejected and quit. So like, you gotta see the bigger picture, man. You gotta just keep at it. Like, I didn't get a damn thing from anybody for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then from there it was like free. I got like a free amp sim for free, like from a company, like prior to the release. Like I got to do that. You know what I mean? Like I got to be a part of the release, but it was a free plugin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I was so stoked on that. I was like, damn, like I get to see this before anybody else, and I'm a part of the release. That was my first partnership with shout out STL Tones, who I ended up working with for a period. I love STL Tones. Like they sent me, I think it was called the I forget what it was called. Like, was it like the
emissary?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, they sent me that. They did that with Ignite Amps, I think, who makes that or made it, whatever. Like they partnered up and they re-released that. I was fortunate enough and super appreciative to be a part of that re-release or whatever. And I got to get that behind the scenes, but it was just a free plugin anyway.
Yeah.
But like that was my gateway into doing all that, and I was super stoked on that. I was like, dude, this is
Yeah,
awesome. I'm doing it, and I
for
still am
sure.
to this day. I still love it to this day.
Yeah, that's a good. I have it. I use it in some of my videos. I love
Oh,
that.
it's awesome, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. The closest I've gotten to like anything like that is I sent a bunch of them to AJ because he has that Jim Root strat that one guy won.
Mm-hmm.
But I got like these. I don't know if you can see it. Shit, it's really small. But it's there are these Jim Root flow picks. They were like they didn't get made into production, but I hit up Dunlop. I was like, hey, like, I have this channel where I cover and teach Jim's parts. Like, I was wondering if I could like demo his like signature picks. And they're like, because Jim posted a story where he had these new ones. It was like on the We Are Not Your Kind tour cycle, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like this new design and everything. And I play flows. I use the Tortex 88 flows. Um,
Oh, that's a pretty light pick there, sir.
yeah, I used to play 1.5s. What do you play?
I play I got like three. I got like 1.14, 1.36, and then whatever the gym roots were.
Okay.
I lost all. I bought 6 of them and I lost them all. But I really like them, and I think they're in my washing machine downstairs.
Probably. Yeah, I think they're what does he use? 1.14.
It's pretty thick. I imagine.
Yeah, but so like they were making these ones, and these are just prototypes. Like it doesn't have his logo on them or anything. But I was like, okay, like I'm a little closer to like obviously one of my goals is to meet Jim eventually, or have him like know I exist. But like I was like, okay, like I have a pick that he kind of uses, and then they never made it, so I couldn't do like a review or anything. But I'm like, all
Right.
right, I was in contact with someone at a guitar company, so just kind of like trying to get me to like keep pushing and eventually like demo some stuff or whatever.
And yeah, you're like that. That's awesome. Like take that. Like you got to be a part of. Like you have prototypes of
Yeah,
picks. Like that's really really cool, and like you should be very proud of that. And the reason why I would like to think that happened for you is because you started building an audience and building a reputation because of the things you're passionate about. I'm assuming your favorite band or one of, and your favorite guitar player. So like that makes sense for Dunlop to work with somebody such as yourself. So like that's where that all comes from. So like you've already done it. So like now it's, you or anybody who's listening, watching, whatever, like that's how you do it. You just got to get your foot in the door, but you also have to do it on your own. Like,
yeah,
like 95% of all my videos are self-funded, self-made. I'm very thankful that I've had a lot of sponsored videos throughout like maybe 3 years since I've really gotten sponsored videos. But like the majority of my videos is just like I've done it myself. So like you have to do it on your own before you can start to work with other people,
right.
which you are on your way specifically doing. So that's commendable, in your situation.
I appreciate that, man. It means a lot.
No worries, bro. Serious. I'm dead serious, bro. Like you're doing it. Like I've known about you for like what 4 or 5 years now. So like you've been on my radar forever. Like so, think about how many other people you've reached and how many other people know who you are. So you're doing it, bro.
I'm trying.
Dude, I'm trying too, bro. Like I'm trying just as much as everybody else. I'm still hustling just like everybody else,
Yes, sir. So speaking of Slipknot, so I interviewed Mark Nosler first, and then AJ, and now you, and all three of you guys are like pillars in the Slipknot fan community. I would say very important to that whole thing. But you're all also very successful when you step outside of that. So I was wondering if you have any advice for that too, as someone, me personally, I'm trying to make more original music, maybe not be so much, oh, he just covers and he just Jim's parts, which nothing wrong with that. I'm very appreciative to everyone who, supports me for that stuff. I was just wondering if you have any advice for like being able to kind of have something that is a niche and then also like be known for your own stuff and your own creations.
Good question, man. Truthfully, on the nose answer, as blunt as I could be, is to stop doing it. Just literally stop. And that's speaking from experience, because what happened for me, not to make it all about me, but I just want to tell the story. Like I like to think it's our conversation, like I appreciate, but you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
So I realized that Slipknot content is very lucrative. It's like the biggest band in the world, maybe second to Metallica, but like it's very lucrative to gain, and it's very easy to gain. And it's easier, not easy. It's easier to gain an audience versus your own original stuff. Like
Absolutely.
speaking from experience,
Mm-hmm.
but what was happening was like people were like hitting me up, like, "Hey, dude, can you send my EP to Jim? Can you tell Jim about my band?"
Yeah.
That's when I realized what was starting to happen
Mm-hmm.
for me specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was nothing to certain people. I was just somebody that they thought that they could use to get to where they wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm a friend / acquaintance with somebody very successful and very famous.
Yeah.
So like that's when the switch went off, and I was just like, dude, no, no way, not doing that.
Yeah.
And that sucks, and that truly sucks because I love making Slipknot content. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. Like it's my favorite band. I love everything about the band, but I was losing my own individual self. And I was doing it to myself, self-inflicted because I was making the content. But once I started to get those types of things, that really, really bothered me. And I was like, not doing that. So I stopped for years doing I think I went like 14 months without a single like Slipknot video or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think I've done one or two. No, I've done two. No, I said I stopped. I'm counting them up. I've done three. I did an album review, and then I did Mick Thompson budget, Jim Root budget videos.
Okay.
Like 3 in a calendar year, and probably like maybe 7 in like 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
If I had to add them all up. So you have to find a way to like make your original stuff, or just, whatever you want to make your forefront, you just have to do it. Like, look at AJ. Like, AJ, yeah, sure, he's very, very prominent in the Slipknot guitar community. But he's now hosting his own festival.
Yeah.
He makes his own festival now every year. It's like becoming an annual thing. He makes his own masks, or, has somebody make his own mask for him, and then he sells them and people eat them up. He paints his own masks. See what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely,
he's making his own thing. For myself, I started to make my own thing and really push my own individual music. And then I started to like push everything that I'm doing and not making it just about the things I'm passionate about or the bands that I like. There's a time and a place for that, and I still love doing that content, but like I really had to slow down because I was starting to be perceived as nothing other than what, like, I was a stepping stone for somebody else to get to where they wanted to go.
Right.
And I'm nobody's stepping stone, bro. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
I didn't even think of that aspect of it. That's very
like, go fuck yourself. Excuse my language. Like, that's like, how rude could somebody be?
That is actually insane. Like, I can't believe people are that like dense to think that someone would just do that. Like, you don't hurt anything.
And I guess I get it. Like, people are trying. People are trying to make it. Can't hurt, right? But it's like, I am nobody's errand boy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play that game.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just going to. Okay, so I was wondering, so far, what is the like most proud moment you've had like in your music career?
I don't know. I'm very hard on myself because I feel like I've just started, truthfully. I think if I had to pick one off the top of my head, I think it would be working with Tom Barber.
Okay. Yeah, how was that, by the way?
Dude,
how did that come about?
Tom Barber is awesome. So I won't say how it came about. It's nothing crazy, but it's just like I don't want him to be flooded with anything, like, because he's a very busy man, and as we all are. But my favorite thing about that experience is talking to Tom as a person. Not, hey, not for what he can do for me, or, hey, can you get on my song? He called me, and we were talking about the song and collabing, and we went on this deep dive of just life. Like, we had this really awesome conversation of like an hour. It was my first time ever talking to him on the phone. He called me out of nowhere because I gave him my number, and he called me to ask me a question about something. And it was the first time I ever spoke to him, complete stranger. And we left the conversation as really good friends. He like, that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite and most proudest moment is like building that friendship with him.
Yeah.
And I don't even really like talk to him that much. Like he's, you know, he's a distant friend. I've never even met him yet. But like, just knowing that somebody like that out there exists and like is very genuine and very kind and very just a sweetheart of a person.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. Another thing I'm very proud of is meeting AJ, Fernando, Christian from Lions at the Gate, Fernando from Lions at the Gate. Like there's certain individuals out there, meeting Jim, obviously, but like, I hope I don't miss anybody out. I hope I don't leave anybody out name dropping, but like just meeting all my friends in this industry, like that's my most proudest moments. You know,
For sure.
Dude, straight up hanging out with you tonight is pretty freaking cool, bro. Like I'm not even saying that because you're in front of me. Like I love meeting good people and collabing with good people because I've met so many bad people in this industry. So when you get the ability to work with somebody like Pete Parada, you know who Pete Parada is?
I don't. Not
okay. Pete Parada got fired from The Offspring because he was medically not cleared to get vaccinated.
Okay.
He's playing drums on one of my songs coming out on my album.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I got to go to his house and hang out with him and meet his family, meet his wife, meet his children, meet his cats, you know, like hang out with him, get to know him is an unbelievable experience. Meeting Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance and Jeremy Nadolski Worm from My Chemical Romance. He's their head of security. Hanging out with them in Rittenhouse Square in Center City, Philadelphia last August. I love that moment. I will cherish that. So like it's the meeting people. It's the interacting and engaging with people. That's my most proudest moments. Like anytime anybody wants me to come out to a show or wants to talk to me, that's what I love. You know, and I've just name dropped a whole bunch of people and I kind of don't like that I did that. But like even just meeting people at shows that come out or like that see me in the crowd that I'm at a show at and want to talk to me, that reach out to me. That's the thing I cherish the most. Like to hell with my videos. I'll make another one tomorrow and it'll be uploaded and onto the next one.
Yeah.
But like meeting the real people in the real world, that's the shit. That's the thing that I love so much.
It's a great answer. And too, like, to me, this is going to sound corny, but like, to me, like music and photography, art, whatever, movies is like the closest thing we have to like magic, like capturing a moment. So it's really like
literally.
Yeah. So to me, it's like a beautiful thing that like you have that with Tom forever. You have that phone call, you have that song, you have that memory forever. And it's cool to me. I feel like him and like Will from Lorna Shore, like are two guys that like have the most like brutal vocals, but are just like, they're just sweethearts.
Yeah, dude. Like I love Will, but I think Tom Barber, like when I saw the Insects live playthrough, the Darko thing, I know it's a song from his like
things I've ever seen in my
You've
life.
seen that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a band with somebody and they showed me that and I was just like, what is this? Who is this dude? And you know, I knew Chelsea Grin from their original vocalist, but I kind of stopped listening to all metalcore just in general because I just listen to Zeppelin and Van Halen and the Sex Pistols now. You know what I mean? Like, but like I kind of I was younger. I was really into deathcore and death metal and metalcore, but I kind of got out of that scene. And then when like I found Tom Barber through Darko before I found him through Chelsea Grin.
Yeah.
And when I saw him, I was like, dude, this is. I hope to work with him someday. And long story short, it happened. I'm so thankful for that. And yeah, not only are they all like Will, I never talked or met Will, but like, you know, just another dude that just like seems to be the most kind person. Like that's the shit, bro. Like working and meeting those types of people. That's where it's at, man.
For sure. It's funny that the Darko stuff, like I kind of had that same reaction that I was talking about when I listened to your record, where it's like, what the, like it's so low and like almost otherworldly. Like that's crazy.
When Tom does his like, scream, like like what are you doing, bro? Like you ever see the Recreant live video with Chelsea Grin?
I don't think I have, but I'm definitely
dude. You gotta see, dude. Tom Barber opens up. He goes, "How we feeling?" And then the snare goes, "Bop," and he goes, "Ah." it's like the coolest thing ever, bro. Like I'm telling you, it's on YouTube. Just type in Chelsea Grin Recreant, RECREANT live. Like
Okay.
you won't miss it. It's like it's the best video of all time in my opinion.
I'll definitely check that out after this.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
Okay, so last thing I have is no, actually I wanted to ask what your experience was like at Pale Fest, talking about like meeting people. I wanted to know how that went for you.
It was awesome. I was pretty like I felt pretty uncomfortable. Not for any other reason that I felt like I don't know if I belong here, because like I truly don't have anything to do with masks. Like I think Pale Fest is geared towards like art and masks and horror, and music is kind of a byproduct of that whole scene that AJ has created with, Paleface and Co. And, Mike Covert and all those guys, Josh Everett, shout out Josh Everett. But like, I didn't know if I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm an independent metal guitar player. And just the amount of people that came up to me and knew who I was and knew that I wrote AJ's breakdown song in his video. And little spoiler, like that song's actually been fleshed out and it's finally on the album that I'm coming out with. Yeah. So
okay, very cool.
I might like do like some sort of thing where like I'll send AJ the revised vision maybe. So he'll have like a new one or something. I don't know. He might be married to the original, which is, it's kind of cool anyway. Yeah. Or he might not even want it, all the above. I haven't talked to him about it. But regardless, just meeting people that like knew who I was, and, I had nothing. I truly didn't belong there as like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being hard on myself, but like, long story short, like it was just so nice to see this crazy cool, I'm gonna say little, and that's not a dig at the fest, but like it was compared to what it is now. Pale Fest #1 was a lot smaller, but and a lot more, wholesome and not as grand as it is now. And in 1 year's time, it's like tripled in size, apparently.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But being a part of that kind of little, small, niche community, it was just so cool, man. So, we were talking offline. You said you're gonna go. Like, you have to go, man. It's so cool. The artists there, the vendors that are gonna be there, like they just make these things. And it's like fascinating. Like, how do you make a mask, bro? Like,
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Bro, I can barely tie my shoes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. These people are so amazing, and I don't even think they've realized how amazing they are. Like, they're just so humble and so like, yeah, all right, it's cool, whatever. It's like this like elaborate piece that's so amazing. So, yeah, shout out to AJ and Pelfest and everybody involved, man. It's just like such a cool thing, and I just hope it like just continues to blow up, and like I hope it becomes like, I could see it becoming like this like Bonnaroo Lollapalooza thing. Like, truthfully, it really has the potential. Like, and I want to see that happen for everybody involved, because they work so hard at it, and it's amazing, bro. So yeah, Pale Fest, it's awesome. Long story short, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. Got a couple months until it, but I got my 3-day pass. So anyone who's watching now, if you want to come say what's up, I'll be there.
It's like I don't know the house number, but it's Main Street, Chillicothe, Ohio.
Yeah,
go there. Go to the House of Masks.
So I have a couple of quick like this or that questions for you, just rapid fire.
I love this or that. Send it, bro.
So AI or TO?
TO. I like football a lot better than basketball. I think TO's awesome, man.
Absolutely. Eagles or Sixers?
Eagles.
Okay, figured that. Phillies or Flyers?
Phillies.
Jim Root or Wes Borland?
Try
to throw a hard one in there too.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's hard, bro. Oh, you dog, you. Oh, man. I don't feel comfortable answering.
That's fair.
I'll tell you something offline, and it's nothing bad, but I have a video in the queue, G to G. I'm waiting to hear back to release it. Okay. I'm gonna call it a tie, bro.
Fair enough. We'll move on. So I have some fan questions. From some of my followers who also fans of your stuff. First one we got is, what tuning do you have the most fun playing in?
Drop F. I see. Like, I think I have the most. I want to say double drop C sharp, but to me, it's like it's not real. Like,
Yeah.
it's this isn't a tuning. It's
Right.
like an extra thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just play in double drop C. You know, you got to have equipment to do so. So drop F, I think.
Okay. We got, how has playing music for a living changed you and your life?
Great question. It's made me learn how good of a work ethic I have.
Mm.
I don't like to speak highly of myself sometimes, but I've learned just out of necessity that, like, you know, I have physical ailments and I have, you know, we all have things going on in lives, but one thing that is razor sharp is up here. Like, my mind is really, really strong and my work ethic is really, really strong. So, like, that self-realization, I always kind of knew I had it, you know, just through other, you know, life stuff, military and stuff like that. But like, I've learned now that I'm like on my own and my livelihood is a direct reflection of my work ethic. And I've learned that, like, my work ethic is pretty good, and I'm very proud of how driven I am. So that it's not really, it changed my life, but it made me learn something about myself that I kind of knew, but now I really can affirm my feelings.
Very cool. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. Like, how do you do like one
I don't
video
know
a day?
either. I don't know either, bro.
Is it
What
like,
was your question? I'm sorry.
no, you're good. Is it like, because it seems like it's almost every single day. Do you put out a video every day or most days?
It's like if you include shorts, which
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of like it's a cheap video, but like, yeah, I probably put out like 25 out of 30 days a month.
That's crazy.
How do I do it? The fear of failure is
Mm.
terrifying. So
Mm.
to combat that, I just work my ass off. You know, it's just like, being a failure is terrifying, and
Yeah.
I don't want to fail. I'm so, I don't know, afraid. Yeah, fuck, I'll say it. I'm afraid to fail, and I don't want to fail. So I like overwork myself to combat that and compensate that.
For sure. So next up we have from Leviathan Mass. We were just talking about Palefest. He asked, "Will you be back at Palefest this year? It was great chatting with you last time."
Oh, I know that dude. I have his sticker on my road case. It's just behind me. I love that dude. I don't know what he looks like though, only with his mask on. Similar to you up until about like an hour and a half ago.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going. And the reason why I'm saying that, I want to go as a fan, because I feel like that's how I fit that niche rather than a vendor, because like, I was truthfully, like, I was under the impression that I was just going to be a fan, and then next thing you know, I was a vendor last year. And that's just my own fault for assuming that. And shout out to everybody who like allowed me to have that position, but I felt almost guilty that like there could have been an artist that could have taken my place. So I would love to go as a fan. I just don't know what October looks like for me. Just because, you know, I kind of live month to month, just because things just pop up and happen. You know, like, work comes out of nowhere. You know, things just happen. I've learned. So like, I just kind of keep my schedule open, and I don't want to commit to anything.
Right.
But I would love to go. I just don't know. I just don't know if I'm going, because you know, it's 3 days now. So like, it's called how it is. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in October, because, you know, I've got my own thing going on.
For sure.
I would love to though, but I just don't know if I can.
Cool. We have, what are your top 5 albums?
Oh, okay. Never Mind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols. Chocolate Starfish. How the West Was Won, the 3-disc live thing from Led Zeppelin that they put out in 2003.
Okay.
It's a deep cut right there.
Yeah.
2 more. Van Halen 2, I'll throw that in there.
Okay.
And then number 5, I'll put in albums. Just off the top of my head, I'll go Hybrid Theory.
Oh, okay.
Linkin Park, yeah. Dude, awesome. Unbelievable.
Cool, man. It's been almost an hour and a half. I know you had a busy day. I don't want to keep you too long. I was just wondering if there's anything else you want to share. Any, I know you have an album coming up. Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, if everybody watching and listening could just follow me on all my social media platforms, I'd really sincerely appreciate it. It's just my legal government name, Xander Raymond Charles. That's where you can find me. Yeah, I have a new album that's like 90% done. It's all written and recorded, just waiting for mixes, and then from there, coming up with a release date and stuff like that. So I'm super, super excited about that, and super thankful that people are still streaming, the first one, and are stoked on that. So follow me on Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. And apart from that, I just want to say, as a closing thing, I want to thank you, sir, for allowing me to, come on your channel and have a two-way conversation. I know this is my interview, but I'd like to think this was a great conversation because I learned a lot from you, and I just appreciate you allowing me to hang out with you for the last 90 minutes.
Of course, man. My pleasure. For real. It's been an honor. And, like I said, I've known you for a long time. So it's really cool to have you on the channel. And I really appreciate your time. And I learned a lot from you as well. It was really, really fun. And definitely keep in touch. And we'll have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, bud. I'm never too far away from KOP. So maybe one day we'll link up. All right.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, man.
All right. You as well, bud. Talk to you soon.
Peace. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Peace.